What's up, friends? This is Jazz, finally bringing you June 2024's haul. I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. You'll see it in the title of the video. I usually think of the titles afterwards. Now, this is everything I got or I'm getting for June of 2024. Now, a couple things. A lot of this stuff, few things here hadn't come yet, right? And it may not come until near the end of June. So you'll get unboxings for those individually. Or if more than one comes together all in one video, but they'll have their own separate video apart from this video. So anyway, I got 6 books and 5 games. Now, 4 of these games are free. Every month I like now to look up some free games, to try. But I don't do it like every single day because that would keep on adding up. But I pick about maybe 4 or so free games, a month. Some that are relatively short for I can finish them at some point. So I'm giving you that heads up. But a lot of the stuff that I got was not free whatsoever. Oh, and I did get an article of clothing as well. So I think I'll show you guys the physical things that I have on me first. The first book I got was Rachel Book 1, and it is the Mighty Big Imagination, and this is based on a true person, right? So it's kind of like a history book, but more, for children's level of it. I got this at the local liquor store. They sometimes have, if you pay money and you donate something, you get a book, and I figured, well, something that's more fictional, right, rather than non-fiction that I usually read, it would be pretty good to read. We got Stallion in the Storm, and this is from the Animal arc. I guess it's kind of a series in a way, and this is a bit of a bigger children's book. So I figured, yeah, it's going to be hard to see the back. There we are. If you want to pause and try to read it, you can. But, so I can't hold it forever. But I figured this might be a little bit different out of my comfort zone. And so I figured that I would get it, for an easier read when I'm at work. Like, sometimes I bring before I go on, guys, sometimes I bring the absolute worst books to work. Yeah. Because that is one of the main things that I do in the program that I'm at. I mean, not only is it somewhat educational to read, because I can't just play games unless it's on my break, but it also, it teaches me to focus. Like, if I'm at work and I'm reading, I believe my ability to focus has improved, me continuing to read. And plus, with having some educational books could be good, too. So now, the final book is a little, not an iffy book, necessarily, but it's iffy in the way that it might be a little too easy compared to the other two. Because not only is it a lower level book, but it is in an area of my comfort zone. And it is The Magic School Bus, The Search for the Missing Bones. Now, technically, The Magic School Bus necessarily isn't in my comfort zone, but it is a kind of a cartoon from a show I used to like. So it's a kid's TV show. So it would be easier than this, which is a bigger book, maybe like grades 3 to 6, maybe 4 to 6. And easier than this because this has history issues in it. It's more educational. And with me, usually educational books are harder for me. So you could argue this might be a little too easy. But I used to love Magic School Bus in the day, and I thought, what a throwback. If I could get that for cheap enough. All those 3 were about $5 for all of them. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll throw it in. Now, there was one book, I'll just tell you just for fun. right, that I was thinking of getting, but one, it was extremely difficult, and two, I think I already had a smaller version of it, and it was the Tommyknockers. Yeah, it was a huge hardcover version of it. And I was pretty sure I already had the Tommyknockers at some point from Value Village. And two, that would just be making another mistake. If I were to get any more Stephen King books, if I get any more, I would try to order Carrie, maybe, the short story. I am not getting any of his huge books again for a long time. Really. Only if it was cheap like it would have been there, that I might consider it. But I'm like, yeah, no. Now, I want to show you my article, the clothing that I got. Warning you that I did wear it. And you may not see my face for a minute, but it is a house coat, actually. My aunt got it for me. It's a nice purplish. I thought it was pink, but it's purple, which is better. But I still love it. I've been using it like crazy, actually. I just absolutely, love that. And I figured I would include this there, too, because it's something that I've been using, again, regularly. So, guys, now I'm going to get to the things that haven't gotten there and that are, digital, which are all my games. So, the things that I've ordered, I ordered the Garfield book, Garfield Gains Weight. That is the second in the little, comics there. I've had 1, 3, 4, 5, and 11. And, my traits make me kind of thinking, okay, I read 1, 3, 4, and 5. I want to read 2. Like that. I'm okay right now about 11, right, being there, because I can wait for some of the others, right? But I just want to read 2. Read the first 5. I'm really enjoying the Garfield series, and I figured, well, I guess I could get that to, just calm my need, right? So, I got the Castle Llyr, yes, and Man 64. I got book 3, which, don't worry, I'm going to read the Black Cauldron, but I figured there I have the first 3 books, so I can read the Black Cauldron and this before I decide if I get the 4th. So that way I have 2 more books before I think of getting the next. So I am looking forward, I've been enjoying this series, and I thought, again, I would add to it for I can have the 3rd one ready when I'm done of the 2nd one. I waited a bit. I didn't get it last month, right? I decided to wait just a little bit, right? And I'm like, yeah, I decided, if my heart was still set on getting it by this month, I would. And then I just decided on it, right? The final book that I ordered was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yes, I've heard so much about this series that it traumatized a lot of children, right? And I figured, you know what, okay, I'm not a child, I know that, but I enjoy Goosebumps. I enjoy some of those other, series, and I figured, well, if this was one of the series that really traumatized kids, I'd like to see it. If it's any, half of the Goosebump books never traumatized kids, and I really enjoy that. So, I like the darker elements of things, like these, and it's a book with different stories rather than one story per book, like Goosebumps, right? And I think there's 3 of them, so I decided to get the first one and decide if I want to continue with the series after reading the first one, right? Again, I kind of like horror. I like anthologies to a degree if they're easy enough to read, which again, it means several stories, right? And I heard there were some very scary monsters in this that make Goosebumps look really tame. So, and even though, I'd say the scare factor with Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark would be about as Are You Afraid of the Dark? Maybe not as bad from what I've heard. It's higher in a scare factor than Goosebumps. But I haven't read it yet. But I definitely know it is like higher in the scare factor than Goosebumps. So, and Are You Afraid of the Dark always had some really scary monsters, even some traumatizing ones. Talking about Tale of the Night Shift. Yeah, I'd still, okay, you know what, I'm just not going to go on a tangent of that. My point being is that the monsters in Are You Afraid can be very traumatizing, and apparently so can these ones, right? There's even a movie adaptation of it, right? That it was so well known. And you know me, if something is really well known and it's in my vein of interest, I'm gonna want to try it. Now guys, to give you the heads up, I ordered these books from Thrift Books. I believe, I don't know if I can remember, but this is the first time that I remember me ordering from this site. But it has a lot of good reviews, and I'm trusting the process. I've very rarely had an instance where it went wrong from any site. The only time I can think of that something went wrong, and it didn't even fully go wrong, was when I ordered that werewolf skin from the World of Books. Or, that other one, that other site, Books, whatever, World of Books, right? And even then, it came in, right? So, and it's a site that has many of positive reviews, and it's trusted, right? So I'm going to trust the sellers will send it to me, and it'll get there in due time. I'm not hyping my expectations that they'll be there very quickly, because it says between 10 and 20 business days, so they even really work on it. So you'll probably see it in end of June, the unboxings near the beginning of July. But I did order them this month. That is the point of the whole thing. I ordered them this month, so they're in this haul. So anyway, guys, on to the games now. I only again bought one game, and I got this on Steam, and it is Omori. Yeah, guys, another in my dark area, right? Yes, this is pretty much a, what is it, kind of like an RPG, how do I put it? It's like an RPG, but it deals a lot with, mental well-being and mental health. We'll just say it's a pretty dark game in a way. Like, a lot of people know the story of it, and it was a game that I was fascinated by, even like a couple years back, but at that time I'm like, yeah, it's probably not smart for me to get that. For one, I'm still not very versed in these games, but I have a bit more patience now with these games than I did. So I figured, well, I guess I can try it anyway. Again, it has dark themes up my alley. Not my comfort zone, but my alley. Again, guys, I'm warning you, even if you're, into RPGs and all that, if you have serious mental health issues, more so depression, avoid this game. Avoid it. I'm not saying that some can't handle it. And if you, we'll just say, when you get this game, judge yourself. Can I handle this game? And if you can, even with depression or those, get it. But if you, we'll just say you know yourself the best. And me, my biggest issue is anxiety. So this type of thing doesn't bother me as much. And I like the elements of it. So I decided to get it. There is some horror in it too, so I have to kind of be mindful of that as well. But I already kind of knew that going in. And I'm looking forward to playing it eventually. I haven't put it on my list. Okay. I'll give you a quick update before I go on to the next game about my progress, or any changes to, what I'm reading and whatever. I might include this game. Might, if I get enough games done before I can do the video, I might start playing it. This will never be finished by number 5, right? But this might be a filler game if I need it, right? So, the next game I have is Left on Read, or Red. Now, this game is an interesting game. It is kind of a romance, and it's an indie, and it's a bit of a platformer, which I didn't quite know, but again, it's free. And it doesn't look like as hard of a platformer as some are, but it's pretty much you're reconnecting with an old friend that you haven't seen for years, and they're having some, issues, like, in that. So you have to know to say the right thing and not to mess things up, and so there's different aspects to this game that is interesting to me, and it's something I might take a bit of getting used to, but sometimes I like these games with some unique mechanics or unique premises. Now, it says here that mostly are very positive, and I'm trying to think, like, it's a choice-driven narrative, right? And it says it's narrative about the harsh realities of modern-age communication. It says you play as a college freshman texting your crush over a long period of quarantine. You must carefully choose dialogue choices to keep the conversation interested and the relationship alive as you do your best not to get left unread. So you have to do your best to not be left, like, oh, this is awkward, It's interesting mechanic enough. The next game, okay, guys. This game is also very controversial. Well, it isn't as known, but it has more... You thought Omori was bad? You know what? I'm taking back some of the things about Omori. Introvert, teenager simulator. Guys, some of the things I can't even say on here. This does not make me look good. Oh. Just, guys, the game looked interesting to me. Look this game up. If you're over 16, no. After you've graduated high school, look this up. Forget the over 16 thing. If you've graduated high school, look up Introvert, a Teenager Simulator. That is far as I'm going with it. Okay? One more look at what it looks like, and then I'm going on to the next game. Yeah, the quickest section ever, but I just couldn't risk talking about it so much. Kill or Love. Now, again, this, I will admit, is probably the stupidest one I got. It is kind of more of a visual novel, and you make choices, and there's a couple different choices, so it's more or less that, for those games. But again, every now and then I see a game, and some of it looks interesting to me. I never get games that are very badly rated, right? But I try to find quality out of them based on people who played it. But it's still just one of those more gimmicky games, as far as I know right now. Maybe someday I'll play it and I'm like, I was completely wrong about it, and then you'll get a review or something. I don't know, but what it say? If you want it, it's on Steam free. Pick it up. And the final thing and final game is The Supper. Now, this is a horror indie game. And I know I added a horror game to the list, but it says it's supposed to look as The Supper is another great, gorgeous, published, blah, blah, blah. Okay, about this game. In this short adventure game, which as it is, The Supper, Miss Appleton wakes up in her tavern's kitchen. The voice inside her head is still there. It won't leave her alone. It commands her to serve a very special meal. Yeah. Okay, you don't want to think I'm going to stop there. Now that I really, read it. But it's, again, a horror game. I may regret getting it, but you know what? It was free. I thought it looked interesting when I was going through the games. I'm like, you know what? It's a unique game. I'll add it there, and if it's free, well, I can just uninstall it and never play it again. Sounds fair enough. I hope this is a better game than the Child's Sight. This probably is still a better purchase than the Child's Sight, which that actually cost me money to start with. So we'll just say I don't think there's ever been a game that I regretted more than the Child's Sight or the Child of Sight. That was my most regret game ever, even if it was very cheap. I was like the worst mistake of my life. Even over my time at Porsche, I mean, at least then it wouldn't scare the daylights out of me. Yeah, okay, enough again on rambling, trying to go, like, you know, straight to the point of these things. Like again, all 4 of the games, these last games were free. The Omori was about $22, which I kind of hit myself now for getting it when I did, because I could have gotten it for like $13 or something. I don't know, maybe it depends on where I got it. But you know what? It is what it is. And it's funny, because I originally planned to get Omori on Switch. But then I thought, yes, I know I'm not so great with playing PC games all the time. But really, there's a lot more pros to getting this game on the PC. If I ever decided to Let's Play again, which I don't think that would ever be my first choice of game to Let's Play. I could, though. It would kind of get me out of my comfort zone a little bit. It was cheaper. There's achievements. There is so much more reason to get it on Steam, right, in my view. And the only positive of the Switch version for me would be that I could take it anywhere. Well, I guess as long as there is that's another thing, another positive. You do not require internet, I believe, to play this on the PC as long as it's been installed, right? I know you can't carry the laptop. I can't carry the laptop everywhere, but still, I have a better chance of bringing the laptop and playing the game there than if I brought my Switch there and there was no internet. And I wasn't going to get it physically, right? Omori. So I had more pros than cons getting it on the Steam version. So, and plus again, it was cheaper. A lot cheaper. It was about $26 with tax, where on the Switch it would end up being $40, guys. $40. No thank you for a game that I am sort of looking forward to but not completely sold on. Yeah, I'm not risking $40 for that, right? 26 is fair enough because I was leaning to get it. 40, nope. So anyway, guys, that was everything that I got this month. Now, before I end it, a little bit of an update. This update might be completely wasteful, because that might be wrong, but you may not get a haul next month. It just depends how long, again, it takes me to gather things, or if I'm able to get them. So just be prepared for it. But if there is a video next month on a haul, I didn't lie either. I said the words there may not be. So I'm just giving you that heads up if there's a chance that I can't get one out. Hopefully you'll get one by August or September. Because the October okay. Also, I know this is far ahead, but there will not be a haul for October for sure. There will be a birthday haul, but not one of these videos, because most things for October I'll count as my birthday stuff, unless it's later. But anyway, just have all that in mind. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel and like what you see, please subscribe. It helps this channel a lot. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you'll know when new videos are coming out. And I'll see you guys in my next video.